Yeah, baby. Let's play and talk a little bit here. Tone rolled off. Back up. Anyway, gigging and learning to see your instruments as tools. I mean, we all love instruments. I've got some vintage instruments that are beautiful. They don't ever leave this studio. Um, this is my newest. This is the woodcraft single pickup. I like simplicity. Um, I can get kind of a P bass, more of a J bass tone out of this because a J bass I normally use the front pickup mostly. All right, let me focus a little bit here. You might hear the birds outside singing. I got the window open. And I'm also, you're hearing me through my Fender Rumble 40 set flat. I think the Fender Rumble series, I've played amp bass at Mark Bass. I've played them all. They're all great amps. As far as gigging with an amp, the Rumble series is pretty damn hard to beat. They're so versatile. Unlike the RB ampegs, they have two mid-range. They've got the voicing filters. They've got the bright, which is here. They've got the contour. Perfect slap bass tone instantly. And they got the vintage, and I call that my Ampeg B15 button. And I get the tone all the way up. Now let me back the tone off to P bass range. Let's leave the vintage. I'm going to hit the drive, back the tone down a little, and they all do this. Foot switch is all you need for that drive. I like mine in the vintage setting. I like Ampegs, but these Fender Rumbles are lighter, larger cabinet, louder than the RB series. This Fender Rumble 40, I played out for a long time with a Mark Bass CMD 121P combo, 300 watts with a neodymium. I did some small bar, restaurant, pub, jazz gigs. I used Fender Rumble 40 after using the 121 Mark Bass, and the 40 was just as loud and more present. This thing gets loud for a 40 watt. That and a 200 watt 1x15 is probably all I really need, the kind of gigs I do. Might be a little loud, distorting. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. That vintage button makes the amp a little, it's either louder or bassier, and so it seems louder. If I'm going to a gig, no matter the style, I want a bass that's light and as easy to play and as versatile as possible. And so far, this has beat out my $2,000 custom-made Shea Cove bass, the Fender JMJ Mustang, the Sire U5, the Gibson SG. I can basically emulate all those basses with this and still use round wound strings. It's 6.6 pounds, and when you do this, man, you get go to Bill Wyman almost territory. So, as I've gotten older, I've gotten away from collecting and wowing at the beauty of certain instruments. I still do, but I rarely buy them. I've sold a lot of Hofners um, that I've owned, old Fenders, Gibsons. You get to the point where you're like, they're tools, man. Why are you wasting so much money? Anyway, rock on. Peace and love. Be kind to one another. Capiche?